Hey, this is Alex, and I'm with Daxina. I just got out of watching Dracula by Luc Besson. So, Dracula and Luc Besson. Besson. Damn, I can't spell his last name. I mean, I can't pronounce his last name. Luc. Um, Luc film is always different. Like, The Fifth Element. Like his style. He's a very stylistic like he makes stylistic movies, and I don't love, but I like a lot of his film. So yeah, this one, it is stylish, but it's different. So let's talk about it for a little bit, right? So like going in, I knew that this movie is not a typical Luc Besson like like adaptation of Dracula. Like Luc Besson again doesn't do traditional adaptation. Like he does heightened, like stylized, like emotional, big swing type of movie. So I was walking into this movie expecting something like visually ambitious, and that's pretty much what I got. We'll talk more about the story in a second. So premise, right? It's Dracula. I mean, the movie. It's the core of the movie is the story of Dracula. Immortal vampire, tragic love, centuries of longing, depression, blood, death. But this version leans heavily into the romantic tragedy side of the character. So rather than the horror monster angle of it, right? So like a lot of Dracula movies all about the horror. This one is more about the love. So which is like interesting. This movie is not Dracula the Predator. This movie is about Dracula the cursed lover, really. This movie reframes Dracula as like pure evil, less as pure evil and more of a trap, someone who's trapped in grief, depressions, and essentially immortality, like someone who is just sad all the time, I guess. Like the emotional core is clearly what Pesant is more interested in exploring. He wasn't interested in the killing and so forth. I mean, there's definitely killing in this movie, but it's a little bit more than that. So what do I like about this movie? So visually, this movie is bold. Luc Besson goes all in on the atmosphere. The lighting is dramatic, very deep red, like really cold blues, like heavy shadows, gothic architecture, and fog everywhere. It's a Dracula movie, of course you have fogs. The production design feels grand and like radical. Like um, it sometimes feels like a operatic stage play, and that's in a good way. In a good way. So um, like every frame that Poussin creates feels like it's designed. There's intention behind the costume, the set pieces, and the way the character move through the space. That's something that I appreciate. I always appreciate him and his style of filmmaking. So I do like the romantic angle on this, right? It surprised me that like he went all in with the romantic angle. Uh, it leans heavily on like longing and heartbreaks. This Dracula is not just feeding, like he's searching, he's haunted, he's emotionally stuck in he's an immortal vampire that's stuck in love. Um so yeah, the immortality in this version of the movie is not about power. It's actually about punishment, punishment for walking away from God. And overall, I think that kind of works. I like the emotional weight of this more than the jump scare. And there are some jump scares in this movie, and like gothic horror vibes in this movie. Um, you at the end of the day, you actually feel for Dracula and you understand why he does what he does, and even though you don't agree with it, but you do feel for him. So the tone of the movie, again, this movie is not like a traditional horror movie. It's more of a dark romantic fantasy with horror elements, right? Is it scary? Not really. Is it dreadful? No, no. It's more like moody than terrifying. That tension comes from emotional intensity, rather than like jump scare shock value. So like if you like constant jump scare, this movie is not for you. But if you're okay with something like a slow burn, more dramatic, right, then this might be for you. Um, so what didn't work well? I think this movie has problem with pacing. Because the movie is so focused on the mood and the emotion, like some of the scenes linger longer than they probably need to be. They feel like it's just stretched out the runtime by like 20 minutes more. Also feel like um the dialogue is not humanistic, if that makes sense. Like it feels more on par with like a theater type of delivery, of lines. um there's a lot of like melodrama in this one, so you really have to buy into the melodrama to enjoy it. So like if you are looking for a tight plot driven like traditional Dracula movie, this is not it. It's more about feeling that like narrative momentum, type of film. Performance. You know, movies, this type of movie, character driven movie, is made or break by the main character, right? Um uh did the main character in this one, the actor, like, is he like amazing? Sometime. um it I think it works. I think it works. That's really all I can say about it. Dracula, he plays Dracula as a person that is tragic and not cartoonish. And that's important. Even though I would say that the costume could be way too over the top. It's a little bit silly in that perspective. There are some part in the movie that just become like too silly. Maybe the gargoyles come to mind. And when that happens, that the movie feels like, what the hell am I looking at, kind of thing. But Dracula himself is actually decent. Supporting characters fine. They do, they're okay. They didn't steal the show or anything like that. Um, a few other things about this film that like come to mind, right? The music's fine. The visual, again, I said, it's great. I It felt a little bit long, but anyways, um, sorry, was lost in thought. So did I like the movie? Yeah, I like it enough. It's not perfect. It's not the best Luc Besson movie. It's uneven in places. Pacing is a little bit off. Costume design, like I mentioned, is pretty good. Uh, it ambitious, has a vision. Uh, it's it's like it's like when you're the type of filmmaker who's known to do like cool stuff, and you try to bring Dracula to be cool, and some element you made it work, and some just don't. It doesn't work. So this is what this movie is about. That's how I feel about the movie. The gothic romance is cool. I kind of like that. I like the fact that Dracula in this one is like an anti-hero instead of a like full-on villain. Um, so yeah, overall, I'm gonna give it like a 7, maybe 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, if you like Dracula, definitely go check it out. Anyways, this is Alex with Duck Cinema, and I'm out.